Writing equations in point slope form 4.2.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
All right, so look at the title of that section, point slope form. What was the name of the form we used last week? It wasn't point slope. It was called, it had one of those words in it. It was slope-intercept. Okay? This is just a review, John. You don't have to put this on your sheet. What was slope-intercept form again? Can someone remind me? What equals what plus what? Yeah. That's y equals mx plus b. That's very good form, very useful. We use it for a lot of stuff. Point slope form is another form we use. Just a little different, okay? But it's still the same idea. There's a slope involved. Okay? So we're going to use a different form, but the main parts are going to be the same. There's still going to be a slope, there's still going to be a y, there's still going to be an x.
You guys are going to see, like I said, you're going to see a few more. You're going to see a few more letters in that. So before we had y equals mx plus b, when we show you this formula, it's going to have a few more letters. Those letters are going to be probably familiar to us, maybe from another formula, but it's going to have a little bit more. That's all.
What's the letter we use for slope? What letter? Yeah, Will? Not y. It's on the other side of the equation. Y is by itself.
It'll have x with it.
M. So this formula uses slopes. There's going to be an m in it. Point. How do we write a coordinate in math? What do you do?
Well, we give you guys, we ask you guys to find slope, and we don't give you the coordinates. We talked about it in the warm-up. We label the points a certain way. You guys remember how we did that?
Like, what is a point? How do you
What's it look like?
Graph.
All right, and how do you write the location of that dot?
You put a dot,
Well, how do you write where it is? Okay, so describe to me, where is that dot?
in the middle.
How do you describe the numbers where it is?
0.
Yeah?
With a coordinate.
With a coordinate. So a coordinate has a parenthesis, comma in the middle, and it has an x value, and it has a y value. x1, y1. So you're going to see an x1 and a y1 in this formula, and you're going to see an m in the formula, and just like y equals mx plus b, you're also going to see an x and a y. So let's start with the first part. So in the box where it says point slope form,
Yeah, right in the first box that's on the page.
start by writing y minus y1. In point slope form, y isn't by itself. That's by itself. Y minus y1 equals. What's going to come next? I shouldn't even have to show you what the letter is. M. How'd you know it was M? Because it was said slope. And then next to M, it's kind of like what we had on the other side. Y minus y1, x minus x1. There's a pattern to it.
Now, guys, what don't you see there that we've had in the formula we used before? Savannah?
B.
Yeah, there's no B. There's no B, right? There's no B in there, right? Again, it's not slope-intercept. It's point slope. We're gonna use a point and we're gonna use a slope. That's why we have those things in the formula.
So this formula is ideal when they give you a problem that has a slope and a point. It's great when you don't know the y-intercept. This formula is perfect.
So what we'll do, guys, is we'll go through step by step on how to, when we're given a point, or given a coordinate, and we're given the slope, we're going to go through step by step on how to set it up. All right, how to set it up. Now we'll start using point slope, and we'll end up getting slope-intercept. That's what will happen.
Yeah, we can convert between the two.
So we go here, all right? He's yelling at me. It's scaring me. He's intimidating me. All right. So, guys, in the formula we just wrote in, right? What was the first thing in the formula? Just y. So when we're setting up, you'll see when we do. you'll see you have an example there, right? Write an equation in point slope form, the line that passes through the point 8,3 and has a slope of 1/4. All right? So, first thing we got to do is we have to plug in the information that we got. We're going to plug it in to point slope form. Not slope-intercept, we're going to use point slope. Right? And like you guys just told me, the first thing, so you guys on your note sheet, you kind of have a little colon there, but there's nothing to the left of it. As you're looking at your sheet.
The one that has the line.
Yeah, so you get the two little dots in the line, right? So to the left of that line, we're plugging in our thing. We're setting up our formula. We're plugging in the information. The first thing we got to figure out is y, right? When we plug into our formula, y is just going to stay as y. Nothing. It stays as the letter y. We're not going to plug anything in for that. It just stays as y, the letter y. There's nothing to plug in there. It's just like in y equals mx plus b in slope-intercept, y stayed as y will stay as y as this. We're not going to plug anything in. What's the next thing in the formula after y? What's the next thing after y in the formula? Messiah?
Minus y.
Minus, just minus. Next thing you're going to put is right below, and you have a little bit of space there. Just underneath the y that you wrote, just put a minus. So we got our y that stays as y, and now we got a minus.
Yeah.
Just right below it.
So not on the next line?
No, not on the next line, just right in between the two, in between. So y minus, because there's nothing really to write for minus. We know it's part of the formula, we have to put minus. Alright? Ginny, what's the next thing in the formula? So we got y, we got our minus. What's the next thing we have? y1. So for the first two things, we haven't had to plug in anything. What do you think's going to happen for this one? For y1. For y and the minus, we don't have to plug anything in. It's just there, we just write it down. But for y1, we're actually going to plug something in. Alright? So you guys just told me it's going to be y1. We're going to plug in from our coordinate here, the second coordinate's the y coordinate. That's going to be there's only one, we're not finding slope. We're just given a set of coordinates. There's no y, there's no x2, y2. There's only one set of coordinates. So our second coordinate is going to be our y. That's our y1. So plug in whatever number's in this spot. That's going to be our y1. We will plug that number in. So now we have y minus whatever that number is. All right.
Mr. Roy, are we going to have every case where they have two coordinates and they don't have?
I don't think so. We may get yes. In the next stuff that what we do after this, they will. All right. So we'll plug in y1 from that. All right. In this case, guys, in the case of this example, someone tell me by raising their hand. What's your y1 going to be for this example?
3.
3, right? I agree. We're not going to worry about that. We'll write in everything else next. All right, so we know that y1 in this case will be 3. We're not really worried about that right now. Just want to make sure people are on the same page. Y minus y1 after the y1. Someone tell me by raising their hand. What's the next thing, Joe? Huh? Before the m. Equals. Again, same deal as the minus. We're just going to put the equals in between. We're not going to really write any information for that. We're just going to make sure we put an equal sign. We're just going through step by step. Alright, so then after the equals, Joe just told me m would be next. Alright, Connor, what does m stand for again? What does it represent? Remember like b, like we did y equals mx plus b, b was the y-intercept. What does m stand for? Slope, right? So m is the slope. In most cases, in most problems that we do, guys, we're going to give you the slope. It'll say in the problem what the slope is. We may do something a little bit later where you might have to figure it out, but for most of them, we're going to actually give you the slope. In the case of this example, what's the slope? Someone tell me by raising their hand. What's the slope for this one? It says it in the thing. Gemini? 1/4. All right? So all we're going to do for m is just plug in the slope that's given to us.
Will it always be there?
Most of the time, if the other type of problem we'll do for this section Josiah will explain to you how that will happen. Alright? And when we don't give you the slope, we'll give you, there'll be, like Mr. Hager was just talking about, there'll be 2 sets of coordinates. So you'll be able to figure out the slope. Alright? But for the case of these and the majority of stuff that we'll do, we'll give you the slope. All the stuff we do at the end, later on today and tomorrow, there's a little trick, there's a couple of tricks we'll teach you to figure it out based on what it says. So M, we're going to plug in the slope that's given. After M, be careful now, be specific. What comes after M? The side of the parenthesis, right? So same deal. Just put it in between. Is this the side of the parenthesis? So make sure you don't forget to put it there. We'll start our parenthesis. Right? So we get the M. After the M is what? We got the M, we got the side of the parenthesis. What's after that? The X. Same as Y. X stays as X. Alright, there's nothing you have to put there. If this stays as the letter X, it's part of the formula, it doesn't change. This stays as X. We're not going to plug anything in for that. So we'll come to the end, we'll come to close to the end now, right? So we got our X, now we're working on parentheses. After the X, alright? So Jack, after the X in the formula, right? The formula we wrote in the box. What comes after the X?
Minus.
The minus sign, right? Again, just reminding you guys to put it there. Put your minus. We got 2 more things left. After the minus sign will be what page? X1, right? Think about when we talked about Y1 like a minute or so ago. How do we know what? So think about what we talked about for Y1. How are we going to figure out what X1 is?
You plug in the X1 from the 7.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing as the Y1, but instead of being Y1 now, it'll be X1. It'll be the first number in the parentheses. Alright? So plug in the X1 from the set of coordinates given. I'm just going to scroll. I'm not going to, you guys still be able to see that. So based on the coordinate that we gave you, someone tell me by raising their hand. Connor, are you writing this down?
Yes.
Okay, you're scaring me. It's like you were staring off into space there for a second. Just want to make sure you're on planet Earth. Alright? So in the case of this problem, Josiah, what is the X1 coordinate? 8. Perfect. One more thing. What finishes off the formula?
The other parentheses.
The other parenthesis, right? Everybody kind of saw that? That's good. So we're going to end off, let me scroll back down here. We're going to end off with parenthesis.
Oh, class R. Wait, really?
I know. Alright, so let's go. Everybody's good. Can I scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, again, I know step 2 says we're going to solve the set it up in slope-intercept form. We're just going to go through right now, and we should have already, actually, you know what, we'll do it right now. Let's go through step by step, and we'll set it up in point slope form. All right. First thing, someone tell me we just went through all this. What's the first thing we have to write?
Y.
Y. Right there it is. Y. And I'm looking at it. If I have on my homework tonight, I'm going to look through. I'm going to look at this and I'm going to go through step by step. So my first thing is Y. Boom. Done. Next thing, like Joe just said, it's minus. Boom. I'm just going to write minus.
You want us to write that?
You might want to.
Well, no, because you already have it. It's just a different angle.
Alright, so Y minus. Alright. What's the next thing after that? So I did my Y, I did my minus.
I was imagining like this.
I know, I'm just calling anyways. I didn't raise your hand. So I did the Y, I did the minus, now I'm here.
Wait, no.
I don't.
3, right? That's our Y coordinate. Good. I did that. What comes after the Y1? Not Y1, what comes after that? Equal sign. Thank you, Savannah. Equals. All right? M, it says plug in the slope that's given. Let's scroll back up. Someone tell me what it is. Raise their hand. Savannah. 1/4. After that, someone tell me about raising their hand. What do I write next? Someone besides Savannah, but I thank her very much. She's a nice young lady.
Well, she drawn me, so I don't know.
No.
Wait, no.
Parentheses. I'm going to stop my parentheses. All right. After that, what do I put? Someone tell me about raising their hand. X. And then like X just said, he said minus, and then he said X1. Someone tell me about raising their hand. What's our X1? Someone tell me about raising their hand. What's the X1, Savannah?
The X1
Yeah.
is
8. Very good. And what's the last thing I have to do to finish it off? And the parentheses. Alright? So like Mr. Hager just put a note, guys, that is point slope form. Alright? So now we have it set up in point slope form. It's all, we've done that piece. But now, we want to take it and use point slope form. We want to end up getting it into slope-intercept. Alright? So, very simple how to do that. Now we're on step 2. So, we already know what our point slope form is. We just did it. Y minus 3 equals 1/4 x minus 8. That's my point slope form. That's what, to get it in the point slope form, just go through your list, step by step. Y, look at what it says. Minus. Y1, how do you get it? Equals. M, how do you get it? Parentheses. X, how do you get it? Minus X1, how do you figure it out? It's all there, step by step. Just follow your list, and you'll be able to set it up. Alright? So that's my point slope form. Alright? Then, I'm going to distribute. So, we just put a little hint on there to show you guys, alright? You'll have a number on the outside. You're going to distribute by both things that are on the inside. So all I'm going to do is take this problem, take my point slope form, and write it down here.
Oh, I know how to do this.
Because what's our goal? When you want it in slope-intercept form, what letter do you want by itself eventually?
Why?
Right, so the goal is eventually, that's going to be by itself.
Wait.
Everything else is going to be on the
Can I
other
say what
side.
I think you do? Well, after you distribute, do you bring the y over?
Nothing with the Y.
I mean the 3, not the
Exactly,
y.
yes, we will do that.
Okay.
Yes, but we got to distribute first. And like you said, you did say that. So, nothing going on here, right? How do I know where I'm distributing?
Because you have parentheses.
At parentheses, good. So I'm doing my equal sign. Ginny, what number am I going to distribute? No.
What's on the outside of the parentheses?
That's what we're looking at. What's on the outside of the parentheses? 1/4, good. That's the number I'm gonna distribute in. Alright? 1/4. What's the first thing I'm gonna distribute the 1/4 to? Decide? To x. So I'm gonna do 1/4. And what math operation do I do when I distribute? Multiplication, good. So I'm doing what am I gonna do? Tell me what I'm gonna do.
4 times x, and then get 1/4 x.
1/4 x. Guys, it's always gonna be that way. We're doing point slope, we're doing distributed part. It's whatever number's on the inside times x. All you're going to get is a number on the outside with an x next to it. It's always going to work out that way. Alright, now, someone's not raising their hand. What's the next thing I'm going to distribute? Joe?
Well, distribute, why don't you put the 3 on the other side? So you add 3.
No, I'm not done yet. I distributed this, the 1/4 times the x.
Joe, stop jumping ahead.
Oh, you have to distribute the 4 to the 8, isn't it?
Careful, I like the 1/4
To the negative.
negative 8, right? Be careful what sign's there. Now, you can do that in your calculator, you can do it this way. 1/4 times negative 8 over 1. Alright? You could cross cancel, or you can do it straight across. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna cancel across. I'll make this a 1, I'll make that a 2, and I'll get negative 2.
Yeah.
Alright? So,
already did that.
I'm gonna put -2 here. Now my parentheses are gone. Alright, I'm done that part. I'm gonna go down to my next step. I'm gonna add or subtract the number on the side of the equal sign with y, like Josiah already told
Do
us.
you use its inverse
To
operation?
the number, exactly, yes. So, I'm not worried about this top part anymore. I already did that. I'm right here now. So all I'm gonna do is, just for the sake of this, to show it so you can see the step, all I'm gonna do is take it and write it down here. That's all I'm gonna do.
How do you subtract? Would you put 3 over 4? Like, how would you do
So
that?
it says, want to add or subtract, and like Josiah was talking about, she talked about an inverse operation. So let's first things first. It says number on the side of the equal sign with y. Well, let's first identify the number that's on that side of the equal sign with y. What number is on the same side of the equal sign with y?
What'd you say?
What number is on the same side of the equal sign with
3,
y?
so we have to get it out of there.
Careful.
-3.
-3, right? So here's the number on the same side of the equal sign with y. -3. Now Josiah said inverse operation. No, are you okay?
Yeah, I was
You're
gonna
throwing those pencils around like they're hot tamales.
He gave me.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt the class.
All right. So what? So now we know it's -3. Josiah said inverse operation. All right. Mallory, what's the inverse operation of -3?
1 over
What's the opposite of 3? -3, I should say.
Yeah, positive.
Positive. Okay, so we did that to the number, not the number with the variable, just the number on the other side. Paige? What's, careful. -2, right? So that's the, we're not gonna do it to 1/4, because it has the x. I can't combine those two things. I gotta do it to the -2. So I'm gonna add 3.
So it'll be -1.
This cancels out. Y equals, all I'm doing is bringing the y down, bringing the 1/4 x down, and I got -2 plus 3. Paige?
1.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Okay.
And that's it. Y equals 1/4 x plus 1. I took it from point slope form, I distributed, I moved the number with y to the other side, and I got it in
Joe. Stop it. Don't.
got it in slope-intercept. Alright?
So guys, if you were to draw a picture of what Mr. Roy just did in slope-intercept, and you were to draw a picture of what he had right here in point slope, it's the same picture. It's just a different way of writing.
How is this long equation slope-intercept? Like, do you have to do it?
You don't always have to do step 2. Some problems, you're gonna stop right here. They're not always gonna have you do this conversion into the
But
second
even
step.
after, when it says y equals 1/4 x plus 1, that seems a little long for like one slope.
Well, the slope is 1/4 and your y-intercept is 1.
Oh, okay, that's why it's a slope-intercept.
Exactly.
Okay.
Slope-intercept.
Oh, okay.
Okay? The reason the other one was point slope, look at it. Point, right? Negative the 3 and the 8. That was the point. This was the slope.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, this makes sense.
All right, so this problem says write an equation in point slope. In point slope. You don't have to do the second step. All right?
Does it matter what equation?
I know.
Yes, you have to have the right numbers in the equation.
I didn't think we asked so many questions until she came in.
Whatever, mister.
Okay. So guys, tell me, can somebody remind me, what's the equation for point slope? Let's just copy it over here.
Y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1 parenthesis.
Right. So there's 3 things we need to fill in for. What are the 3 things we're going to plug in numbers for? Just name them to me. Savannah?
We're going to plug in 4 with 1.
So we're going to plug in for, just, you don't have to tell me what to plug in where, just tell me what I'm gonna plug in for, which three things. Y1, we're gonna plug in for that. X1, we're gonna plug in for that. And M, we're gonna plug in for that. Now we just have to put the right numbers in those three spots. Okay, what is Y1? Gemini? 0. Okay, Y minus 0. So we've got the 0. Next thing, equals M. What number in the problem is my M? Josiah?
M is 5.
M is 5. You've got that.
is fine. Oh, M equals slope.
X is 4.
X.
X is just X.
X is just X.
But X1 is 4.
Exactly. And that's it. For this problem, you stop here. Okay, because the direction said point, slope, form.
Okay, so this is the point slope form.
Okay, if it's y equals mx plus b, that's slope-intercept. If it's like that, it's point slope. If Mr. Roy and I had you guys convert that, what would be the next step?
You would distribute.
You would distribute the 5. Yeah? This one's different?
Yeah.
You could just change the number that you had. Make, okay, make the coordinate 4, 0.
Wait, how would you put this on number line?
So what did you guys have? 3, negative 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it 4, 0, and make the slope 5.
Oh, I didn't even read our directions. Do I change it to our
Yeah,
directions?
just change the 3, negative 1 to 4, 0,
Okay.
and change the negative 2 to a 5 on yours.
I was really confused why it said that one and then that one said that. You guys!
Okay, guys, any question on example 2?
No, I like this stuff better than what we did last time.
All right, let's look at the next one. Is that, are those two coordinates the same as what's on your sheet?
Yeah.
1, 2, okay.
Wait, how do we write slope-intercept for this?
All right, so what do we need to do slope-intercept?
You need the y.
You need the coordinate. Well, they gave us 2 coordinates, so which one do you pick? You can pick either one. It doesn't matter. So-
Pick one with the simpler numbers.
Exactly. Let's pick the one with simpler numbers. Which coordinate has simpler numbers?
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Oh, 3 negative 3.
Okay. What is the 1? Somebody tell me.
Oh, the 1, wait, let me.
I think
What
step
would be
by
X1?
step right after that.
Wait,
The 1
Savannah?
is
The 1 is which value?
Y.
No,
it
alphabetical.
would be,
Oh,
wait, I'm having a brain fart.
It's
Yeah.
2. At least I actually have
What's the 1? Somebody tell me. 1. What's 1?
X1.
X1.
You're what?
I know, I think you were first calling it.
Noah, what about the 2?
The Y value.
The
Y
2.
value.
The Y value. Now, we have a coordinate, but what are we missing? What are we missing that we need?
Think of the name of the formula.
Oh, we're missing the slope. Why didn't they give us the slope?
We're missing the slope. So,
Why'd they give us the coordinates, not the slope?
so they're making us figure out the slope this time.
Oh, I really want my trance. This is what we did last time, and I didn't remember.
All right, so
Too much work.
you guys already have this part and this part done. You have the x1, you have the y1. You've got to figure out the slope.
Guys, think about it. We got 2 sets, we've done this before.
I didn't like it.
How did we find the slope?
We counted up and over.
Okay, you can count, yeah. And what did we call that? What over what?
Rise over rise.
Exactly, rise over run. If you want to think of it as a formula, rise is y2 minus y1. Run is x2 minus x1. It's exactly what you just said.
So on your thing, guys, on your notes, you got find. You're gonna, right in there, what's underlined in bold, the slope, M, first. Where it says using, you want to write on the top of that line, y2 minus y1, rise. Below that line, you'll write x2 minus x1, run. Right, X?
Right.
Wait.
Okay, so this is the only extra step from the last problem.
Mr. Hager's talking, do you have any questions on where to write that?
Where's the replay? You guys have math class?
The recall. What recall?
It says
see how
recall.
I'm-
I just put it in
Yeah, I know that. That's just,
Another learner form.
It's not 40, Joe.
Okay, does everybody have the formula written down?
Yeah.
All right. So let's do that right now. Let's find our slope. Okay.
What are we
Can
plugging?
somebody tell me what the coordinates were again? I'm gonna copy them down so we don't have to scroll back up.
3 and
Negative
1. And then 1 and 2.
Did you get 1 and 2 from already?
All right. So we've got our coordinate. Now let's label it. What did we say the 1 was?
Oh, the 1 was x1.
X1. How about the 2?
The 2 was y1.
Y1. Fred, what's the 3? What's the 3? X. Yep, X2. What about the negative 1? Y2.
Brace. I know what that's.
Let's fill it in. Joe, what's Y2?
Y2 is -1.
Go ahead and finish the whole thing off for me.
Why do you have negative 1? Wait, Mr.
Minus 2.
I have 3 and 2.
Someone told me 3, negative 1.
Who said that?
I don't know what you guys are talking
It was
about.
Sophia.
Who did that?
Just 3 and negative 1.
Come on, children.
Hey,
3 negative 2.
negative 2.
Negative 1.
Savannah, stop.
I'm reading it right now.
Oh! Somebody check. Not the graph.
All right, Y2. Joe, go ahead, Y2.
-1.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I was like.
We fixed it now.
Minus 2. Oh wow.
Minus 2.
0.
Careful, we'll do that in a second.
Then 3
3,
This could be minus
1. All right, negative 2 minus 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0.
That's 0.
What's negative 2 minus 2? Negative 4
Joe. You meant to.
divided by 3 minus 1, Savannah? 2.
1/2.
Careful.
It's 2. It's negative 2.
Negative positive.
No, it's negative 2.
It's definitely negative.
It's negative 2.
Negative.
It's negative 2
It's
times
Super down.
It's negative 2.
Negative 2.
Now, if you had negative 1/2, that would have been flipped. All right, what did I just find?
the slope.
The slope. The slope is M. Okay. Now I've got M. Savannah, what else do I need? What else do I need? What else goes into the formula? We've got the M. What else?
Oh no, we don't do B in this one.
We don't do the B, you're right. What else? What do we need?
We have
We've got the slope.
the slope, we have the X and the Y. We don't need anything else. We have the X and the Y and the slope.
We need the X, we need the Y, we need the slope. That's what I was asking. Yeah. We need the X1 and the Y1. What did we do? We did that right here. There's your X1. There's your Y1. There's your slope. Now write it into the formula. Now, does it matter which coordinate we pick when you have 2 of them? No. Use the one with the easier numbers.
Why doesn't it just give you 1? They're trying to confuse you because I would have done both of them.
Because when you're finding slope, they have to give you 2.
She likes the easy way out.
It's kind of, so when you have to find slope, they have to give you 2. Okay, so pick one of the coordinates. We just said it doesn't matter which one. Pick the one with easier numbers.
1, 2.
If you want to pick the one with harder numbers, go for it. Whatever one you want to pick.
Are they gonna come out the same?
They're going to be exactly the same. They might look a little different because of the numbers you pick, but they are the same thing.
Yes. You'll still get the same answer regardless of what set of coordinates you choose.
I'm really happy I'm passing
Not that
And then guys, in terms of, now we have the slope, guys, so you can follow the same steps as what you did before. Yeah, just make sure you scan out. Very much.
Okay, let's fill this in. Let's get this answer. Y minus, what did we say y1 was?
Y1 is -2.
Oh, I seem to mess those up. So I guess
I had y1 as positive.
It's 2. My writing's really messy, so the equal looks like a negative.
Slope, we just figured out.
Do we write this under practice A?
You can write it if you want, up under examples 3 if you want.
Do we have to write it though?
Yes.
If you don't want to write it, Joe, then on the homework you may not know how to do it.
Yeah.
You've asked me that a couple times today. If you don't know how to do it, that's fine. I don't care, but don't sit there and be distracted, okay?
Okay, guys, what did we just find the slope was?
The slope was 2.
I don't think
No, it
so.
was -2.
M is -2. Last thing, x1. What did we say x1 was?
Can you put that under extra practice?
X1 was 1.
Yeah, you can write that extra practice A if you want. Probably not going to get those anyway, so that's fine.
1. It was 1.
Let's go back up and look. x1, yep, is 1.
Huh?
So we just found the equation of the line. What form is that?
Okay, now we do the distributive.
Point slope, exactly.
Good job.
Does it say to do slope-intercept?
No.
Well, if we do, if it says to do slope-intercept, then yes, we have to do distributive.
Okay.
But does it say that?
Yeah, it says write a slope-intercept equation.
Right. Why isn't that slope-intercept?
Because you didn't distribute and finish it.
We didn't distribute, we didn't get y by itself.
Well done.
Thank you.
Somebody tell me, what are we distributing right here?
The 2.
+2. +2.
Careful.
No,
Well, then we do inverse
X.
process as well.
What's with the 2?
Negatives.
Negative.
2.
What was that?
Okay, the only reason you have to do what we're doing right now is because it said slope-intercept. If it didn't say that, I would not be distributing right now. I would have been
If
done.
we do accidentally do, will you take points off?
Well, you got to know which form is which. So if it says slope-intercept, you got to
Yeah,
do
hey
the
guys, tonight, even tonight, for the sake of the homework, do everything in slope-intercept.
Okay.
Okay, somebody tell me -2 times x.
Oh, -2x.
-2x.
Blocked out.
-2 times -1.
-2.
Careful, negative times negative.
Oh, 2. Sorry.
It's actually
Yes,
positive.
yelling at people again. Get in here.
All right.
What's up?
Is that slope-intercept?
No, because the y is not by itself.
Right, now we're kind of halfway between. It's
We're
not
almost done.
it's not point slope anymore, but it's not slope-intercept. It's kind of in the middle. Finish it off. What's my last step? Gemini?
To add 2.
Add 2. Add 2. Fred, tell me what I get. Well, what's on the left-hand side? Y. Is there anything I'm adding to the -2x? No, there's nothing in that column to add with it. It's just -2x. And then what's the last thing? 4. +2 +2, right? +4. Perfect.
So is this the whole thing we're
That-
doing now?
Yep.
That's the answer. Yep. So, guys, the extra step in that problem is you had to find the slope.
So why does the slope
Like
seem easier?
like I said, guys, for the sake of the homework tonight, make sure you take everything, start in point slope, and go to slope-intercept.
Guys, we're gonna pick one out of the two practice. We're not gonna do both. Which one?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do B.
Would you be starting?
Guys, do me a favor. Guys, do me a favor.
Yes. Shut your mouth.
Guys, the side conversations need to stop, because we won't even do the reference sheet on Friday, and we won't review next academic week. We'll just go on to something new, and then you'll just take the midterm on Wednesday with no practice.
So guys, I can tell you right now, we're not gonna finish the second lesson today. So we're not gonna have all of Friday at this point.
Alright, so this, guys, point slope form. Just do this, pretend this is example B. So I know a lot of you guys wrote the last thing we did under example, extra practice A. That's okay. Just pretend we're going to do this in practice B. For the sake of this, guys, I don't care about the distributing part. All I want you to do is just set it up. Take a minute, minute and a half, and just set it up. So listen, guys, side conversations, stop. Thank you. All right? What's going to go in that box? Savannah? -1. Very good. Because that is our Y1.
What changes to Paul?
This box right here, what's that going to be?
Alright.
He's gonna do that.
I did hear you. You are absolutely correct, and I'm not ignoring you. Very nice job. Congratulations. Do you want a hug? All right. This box. What goes in this box? What? I don't care about the number. What part of the formula? Josiah? -2, which is the. Good. That's my M, right? Good job. X just stays minus. What goes here? Mallory? 3, which is the.
Which is the X1.
X1. Now, like Savannah just said, we got, just like before, we had to solve for like slope and you had 2 negatives in a row. That's perfectly okay. It would be y plus 1 equals -2, x minus 3. I know some of you guys did it. What's the next thing we have to do? Distribute. I'm going to do it just for the sake of time. If you didn't,
Keep in mind, in this problem, guys, you didn't have to. The directions did not say to do this. But if you did it, that's okay.
then we'll minus.
I'm gonna write it down just in case.
I would write it down because there are going to be some problems on the homework you have to do this.
And guys, like I said, for the sake of the homework, set everything up, do everything the exact same way that we did today.
In Slope-Intercept.
Do point slope first, then get into Slope-Intercept. The directions on the homework may say point slope. We want you to put it in Slope-Intercept.
Okay.
All right. Start it off in point slope, then get it into Slope-Intercept. Got it?
Got it.
As I walked around, guys, I think most people did a pretty good job with this. I think the only thing that might have stumped people was the 2 negatives in a row.
I don't like it when they-
It's okay if you have that, it's turning into a positive. A lot of you guys already told me that, Savannah did. Alright? Practice B I'm not worried about. Alright?
So guys, we want to try to get through a little bit of the beginning stuff here, so tomorrow we can get through the examples pretty quick.
Alright, so now it's gonna ask us to write lines that are parallel. Can someone tell me what a pair of parallel lines are?
Like this one.
They could be up and down, they could be...
They don't ever go together.
Yes, they never intersect. Alright, parallel lines, listen. Parallel lines go on forever, and they never intersect. What does that mean, intersect?
Like,
It's a fancy word for what? The little cross, touch, any of those things work. Parallel lines will never, ever, ever, ever cross. They'll go on forever, they'll never cross. Alright?
So what would that mean about lines? If I drew a line and a parallel line, those 2 lines have the same what?
slope.
Well, lines go on forever, but they have the same,
Slope.
they have the same
Same
slope.
slope. What letters in the formula, we don't have mean slope, what number's always attached to it to tell us that it's a slope? So the x, when we're dealing with slope, alright, the number with x is always going to be the same. Always, always, always. So, first thing for this, when we're dealing with this, if we're asking you to look at 2 lines and say whether they're parallel or not, alright, they have to be in slope-intercept form. They have to be in y equals mx plus b. Alright? Even when we go through we're doing the same process here, guys. We have to go through, get it in point slope to make it slope-intercept. Do the y minus y1 equals mx minus x1 in the parentheses. Same exact thing. Now, when it asks us to do this, like Melanie told us, they're gonna have the same slope. So when I ask you to instead of say, put it into, give the equation of a line that passes through two coordinates and is parallel to, and it's parallel. So whatever the slope is, when you set it up in your formula, all right, the slope, whatever that number is going to be exactly the same. All right? If it's 2, it's 2. If it's -5, it's -5.
So what if I had a line with a slope of 2, and I said, okay, tell me, I'm thinking of a line that's parallel. What's the slope of my parallel line? 2. If I had a line with a slope of a half, I'm thinking of one in my head that's parallel. What's the slope? A half.
Always.
It has to be the
So
same
it's kind of
number.
like mirror image.
Exactly. Now, here's the one thing. It has to have different y-intercepts. Because if you had the same slope and the same y-intercept, what does that mean? It's the same exact line. It's gonna be one line on top of each other. It'll be the same exact thing. All right?
And lines on top of each other are not parallel.
And guys, when we do this, guys, we're gonna end up getting different y-intercepts. All right? Now, vertical lines, I don't think we'll talk about that too much. If they're like vertical, like straight up and down. All right? All vertical lines are always going to be parallel. We're not going to give you any that deal with vertical lines. We just want to let you guys know that vertical lines are a special case because all vertical lines are parallel.
How come we don't talk about slope with a vertical line? What is the slope of a vertical line?
It's undefined.
It's undefined.
So we don't deal with it.
That's why we can't talk about, oh, it's the same slope, because there really is no slope in vertical lines. It's a special case.
All right? Good with this?
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Now what do we do?
All right.
Oh, this is the done part. You're done.
Oh, sorry.
No, wait, stop, please stop. No, it's okay.
We have 2 minutes left.
There's only 2
Oh, we have like
minutes.
6, but we go to 56. Nice.
Okay, so guys, because of time, we're gonna hold off on those second steps. So that sheet we just gave you, put it in a safe place. We're gonna start with that tomorrow.
Yeah, my bag is safe.
Okay?
Spinning dollars.
Now, if you get up, line up at the door and do those kind of things, we'll just keep going.
I'm getting my bag.
Okay, guys, on the homework tonight, Mr. Roy and I are gonna tell you which ones you have to do. Okay?
Okay, so
Leave her alone.